Hi, in this video we show how to change the subject of an equation. This was earlier brought up in the video that discussed percentage equations. Put simply, subject of an equation is an isolated variable on one side of an equation. So changing the subject means keeping one variable only on one side of an equation. On which side you keep it, that doesn't really matter. So, for example, we want to know what is x if 10% of x equals 5. To find that, we must isolate x. Say in this case, we isolate it on the left side. So everything on the right side becomes its value. To do that, we divide both sides by 10% or 0.1. And why do we divide? Because 10% was being multiplied by x. And division reverses multiplication. So everything apart from x now shifts to the right. Yeah. Now, if you're not familiar with this, then you might be wondering, why did we divide both sides? And that's because the equation must stay balanced. So in an equation, if we do anything on the left side, we must also repeat the same thing on the right side. So because we divided the left side by 10% to 0.1, we also repeated the same process on the right side. And this is why we now have 1.5 over 0.1. Now, since we have decimals like 1.5 and 0.1 to carry out the decimal division, as discussed in an earlier video, we must get rid of the decimals. And to do that, we multiply it by 10 in the numerator, and we do so the same in the denominator. And hence, we get the answer 15, because 1.5 times 10 is 15, and 0.1 times 10 is 1, so 15 over 1 equals 15. Now consider a different example. So in this case, 1 is being added to x. Now to isolate x, we must subtract 1 because subtraction reverses addition. And we must do so from both sides. Hence we do that. Therefore, we get x equals 1. And now x has become the subject because it's isolated and its value equals 1. Now in the previous examples, before it was made the subject, the variable x was either being multiplied or only being added to something else. Now what if both these operations are happening in the same example? And that's what is represented here. So in this one, 2x means 2 times the variable x. Here we are using a lowercase x to represent a variable. And then it is added to 1. So 2x plus 1 equals 9. Again, we must make x the subject. To begin the process, first we must reverse multiplication or addition. That's a decision we have to make. Let's try addition, and to cancel addition, we have to subtract. So we subtract 1 from both sides. This leaves us with 2x equals 8, where 2x means 2 times x. Now to isolate x, we must reverse multiplication as well. So we divide both sides by 2. And as we do that, we get x equals 2. Now you might be thinking, well, what are those 3 dots appearing as a triangle? This means therefore in maths. So the last statement simply means therefore x equals 2. Now, in the last one, we had said we had 2 options. To isolate x, we could have either chosen subtracting or dividing. So we chose subtraction, and we did manage to find, we did manage to isolate x. But what if instead we had divided? So that is what we are doing here. So we divide both sides by 2. Now notice we are not only dividing 2x by 2. Okay, once we remember in an equation, whatever we do to the whole of the left, we also do to the whole of the right. Okay, we don't pick parts. So yeah, we have to divide the whole of the left. But then, what more can we do? We are stuck with this 2x plus 1 over 2 equals 9 over 2. So we can't really isolate x by doing that. So it was right to subtract first. And as we saw from the sequence of operations in the last slide, that we managed to isolate x, and that's how x was made the subject. So that was the right way. So that concludes this video, and I'll see you in the next one.